Okay, so these are the first three transactions that we had on the first, second, and third. Now, I'm not going to be repeating them. I'm starting with the transaction on the fourth. Purchased one scooter from Regent Automobiles on credit. All initial costs, including insurance, borne by the vendor. So, vendor is the seller, which is Regent Automobiles in this case. And you have to record this transaction from the business's perspective. So, सबसे पहले identify करना है which are the accounts involved in the transaction. Rushil, roll number 233. Rushil, can you tell us which are the accounts in the transaction? Yes, Rushil? Waiting for your answer. I keep getting notifications of people leaving the meet. For your information, I haven't taken down the attendance. So if you've come and gone, you'll not be marked present. And I'm randomly going to pick attendance at any time during the class. Jagrit Kamra, can you answer this, please? Jagrit, are you there? Please switch on your mics. I bothered to do that. And I've stopped using the camera because none of you switch on the camera even when we asked you to. So when I'm switching on the mic, you should be doing that when it's your turn. अगर आप लोगों के सेल फोन का साउंड काम नहीं करता है तब तो आप दुनिया आसमान एक कर देते हैं. And class, you're very comfortable not having your mic working. Yes, Jagrit? Tell me the accounts. You can write down in the chat box. In the fourth transaction, which are the accounts involved? Regent Automobiles, okay, and minimum of two accounts in every transaction. So one is Regent Automobiles. No, the second one is not bank. Shashwat says scooter account. Good, Shashwat. So one is Regent Automobiles and one is scooter. What type of accounts are these? Real, personal, or nominal? Both of them are real, Shashwat? Scooter and Regent Automobiles? Scooter is real, good. Regent Automobiles is? Yeah, Jagrit, what type of account is Regent Automobiles? It's not real, I've already said that. It is personal. We are referring to an organization. Personal accounts होते ही वो हैं where you're talking about a person or an organization. So Regent Automobiles is an organization, so personal account. Real account का rule है debit what comes in, credit what goes out. So is the scooter coming into the business or going out? Coming into the business. So scooter account will be debited. The second account is personal, debit the receiver, credit the giver. So Regent Automobiles is the giver of scooter or the receiver? It is the giver of scooter. So that is how you will be recording the transaction in the journal. Scooter account, scooter account debited. In the next line, to Regent Automobiles. To Regent Automobiles. The value of the scooter is given to you in the transaction as 32,000. And this 32,000 includes the price of the scooter as well as insurance and other expenses which have been borne. Now, why Regent Automobiles and not cash or bank? Because you have purchased it on credit. So, जब भी on credit term आ जाए, so it automatically means that there is no cash exchange taking place, either in currency or through the bank. Okay, so that is where we know that we have to be talking about the person with whom the transaction has been made rather than cash or bank. Now we move on to the next transaction on the 5th. Paid check towards down payment for scooter. Balance loan against security of scooter is payable in 12 monthly installments starting from May 1 with interest at the rate of 12% per annum on reducing balance. ठीक है, सो ट्रांजैक्शन में बहुत कुछ डिटेल दिया है जो हमारे लिए इसलिए रेलेवेंट नहीं है इस स्टेज पे बिकॉज द मंथली इंस्टॉलमेंट्स आर गोइंग टू बी स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम मे एंड वी आर ओनली डीलिंग विद ट्रांजैक्शंस ऑफ अप्रैल. सो ये इंस्टॉलमेंट कैसे कैलकुलेट होगा ये सब हमें बॉदर करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. We just have to look at the first part of the transaction, paid check towards down payment for scooter 8,000 rupees. ओके अगर सिर्फ इतनी सी ट्रांजैक्शन है तो उसमें कौन से अकाउंट्स इन्वॉल्व हैं और किसको डेबिट करेंगे और किसको क्रेडिट. यस पीपल. So Mayank says bank account and Regent Automobiles. Good. Bank account and Regent Automobiles. And Shashwat says Regent Automobiles debited to bank account. So if both the accounts are considered as personal, debit the receiver, credit the giver. So according to this, Regent Auto's account Regent Automobiles account debited to bank rupees 8,000. ठीक है स्कूटर आप पहले ही ला चुके हैं प्रीवियस ट्रांजैक्शन में. इट इज ऑलरेडी इन योर बिजनेस and you have acknowledged the fact that we now need to pay Regent Automobiles 32,000. So out of that 32,000, now in the next transaction on the 5th, you have paid them 8,000 rupees, जिसका आप record रख रहे हैं. अब बाकी के जो 24,000 है, that has to be paid along with interest starting from May. Okay. Now we look at the 6th. Purchased office furniture for cash, rupees 12,750. Very, very direct transaction. I think everybody should be able to do it. Radhika, can you answer this? Radhika Sharma, can you please answer this? Which are the accounts involved when you're purchasing office furniture for cash? Chirag says office account, office account and cash account. Shashwat says expense account and cash account. Radhika says cash account only. So, number one, we need two accounts, right? Chirag's answer is the closest, office furniture account. Not, there is nothing like an office account. Okay. Office furniture account and cash account are the two involved. Shashwat, it will not be expense because you're creating a real account. Expense तभी यूज होगा जब आप नॉमिनल अकाउंट क्रिएट करते हैं. सो ये हम अकाउंट्स में डिफरेंस बनाते हैं बिटवीन एक्सपेंस एंड एक्सपेंडिचर. सो जब हम पैसा पे करते हैं और लॉन्ग टर्म वैल्यू की कोई चीज़ क्रिएट करते हैं, दैट इज़ व्हाट इज़ नोन एज एक्सपेंडिचर. और जब ऐसी चीज़ पे पैसा स्पेंड करते हैं जो बार बार स्पेंड करना पड़े और जिसका बेनिफिट लिमिटेड हो, सो दोज आर नोन एज योर एक्सपेंस अकाउंट्स. So this is office furniture account. Both of them are real account, cash and office furniture. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. So from the business's perspective, office furniture comes in. जब भी आप कोई एसेट खरीदेंगे वो हमेशा डेबिट होगा because this asset comes into the business. Office furniture account debited to cash account, and the value of the transaction is 12,750 and 12,750. Okay. Now the next one should be easy to get. Purchased office. Yes. Hanji. Expense accounts are those where you pay money but you don't really get anything in hand. जैसे आप सैलरी में पेमेंट करते हैं, ठीक है. सो सैलरी का जो बेनिफिट है वो एक ही मंथ या एक ही वीक के लिए होता है. उसके बाद इट हैज़ टू बी पेड फॉर अगेन. सो दैट इज़ वेयर वी क्रिएट एन एक्सपेंस. रेंट, टेलीफोन एक्सपेंसेस, ये सारे ऐसे एग्जाम्पल्स हैं जिसमें रेकरेंट पेमेंट करनी पड़ती है. सो दोज आर योर एक्सपेंस और नॉमिनल अकाउंट्स. जब आप स्पेंड करते हैं और ऐसी चीज़ खरीदते हैं जो काफ़ी साल तक यूज़ होगी, सो दैट इज़ व्हेन वी क्रिएट एन एसेट, एंड फर्नीचर इज़ एन एग्जाम्पल ऑफ दैट. ठीक है, ठीक है. So next one, purchase office equipments, paid check 17,250. So इसमें कौन से accounts involved हैं? हाँ. Office equipment account, very good. And SBI account or bank account. ठीक है. अगर किसी बिजनेस के मल्टीपल बैंक अकाउंट्स हैं, देन यू नीड टू मेंशन विच अकाउंट, लाइक एसबीआई और पीएनबी और वट एवर. बट अगर एक ही अकाउंट है, सो सिंपली बैंक अकाउंट वुड सफाइस. सो debit what comes in, credit what goes out, or credit the giver. So office equipment coming in and money flowing out of the bank account rather than the cash account. Office equipment account debited to bank account 17,250. Next transaction on the 8th, purchased 60 units of product A and issued a check 66,000 rupees. Which are the accounts involved? Yes. Goods account and bank account, purchase account and bank account. Very good. Mayank and Shashwat are really at it. And the rest of you, you just have to cross the first hurdle. Then the rest of the things seem as, easy as they probably seem to Shashwat and Mayank. Because ये pattern आपको नजर आने लग जाता है transaction में, that they're very similar to each other. So, purchases within bracket goods account debited. How has the payment been made? By check. So, to bank. To bank account. Value is 66,000. तो इस ट्रांजैक्शन में अगर हम गुड्स अकाउंट कंसिडर करते हैं तो वो रियल अकाउंट है. डेबिट व्हाट कम्स इन, क्रेडिट व्हाट गोज आउट. अगर हम इसको परचेजेस कंसिडर कर रहे हैं, सो परचेजेस इज अ नॉमिनल अकाउंट. डेबिट ऑल एक्सपेंसेस एंड लॉसेस, क्रेडिट ऑल इनकम्स एंड गेन्स. ठीक है, जब भी आप गुड्स खरीदेंगे, यू विल ऑलवेज बी स्पेंडिंग मनी. सो दैट इज हाउ परचेजेस इज ऑलवेज डेबिटेड, and on the same logic, sales is always credited. Now we come to the ninth, sold 20 units of product A, received check, deposited in SBI 27,500. So which accounts? Bank and sales. Okay. Like I mentioned, sales is always credited. Bank is real or personal. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. So जब business sale करेगा तो पैसा business में आएगा और goods बाहर जाएंगे. So bank account debited to sales account, and the value of the transaction is 27,500 and 27,500. Okay. Now, why has the detail been mentioned, received check, deposited in SBI and all that? Because a lot of times it so happens that you received a check, but you did not deposit it in the bank on the same day. So उसमें क्या होता है, अगर आप बैंक में डायरेक्टली दिखा देंगे डेबिट, तो योर बैलेंस विल नॉट एग्री, जो आपको लगता है बैंक में होना चाहिए और जितना एक्चुअली है. So these are the finer details accountants look at. पर हमारे लिए it is one and the same. जब चेक रिसीव किया है आपने, तो हम डायरेक्टली उसको बैंक में डेबिट दिखा देते हैं, बिकॉज रिकन्सिलिएशन और ये सब डिटेल्स में हम नहीं जा रहे हैं इन दिस कोर्स. ओके. So on the 10th, we have check issued for advertisement in the local daily Delhi Times 2500. So एक तो check है, so automatically indicates bank. Which other account is there in the transaction? Publicity, Delhi Times account, credit, SBI account. Uh, the account that has already been mentioned in the transaction is advertisement account. ठीक है, सो उसी को हम यूज करेंगे. इसमें दिल्ली टाइम्स नाम लिखने की इसलिए जरूरत नहीं है बिकॉज यू ऑलरेडी पेड द अमाउंट. ओके, हैड यू रिसीव्ड अ बेनिफिट फ्रॉम दिल्ली टाइम्स और अभी पेमेंट उनको जानी होती, तब हम दिल्ली टाइम्स का नाम लिखते. अब हम पर्पस लिखेंगे कि किस पर्पस के लिए ये पेमेंट हुई है. एडवर्टाइजमेंट अकाउंट डेबिटेड टू बैंक अकाउंट and the value of the transaction is 2500. I just need to take a call for a minute. Please try the next one. हाँ जी रश्मि. अच्छा अच्छा, ठीक. Right, so next transaction on the 11th is purchased 85 units of product A from BCA and company on 15 days credit. So what will be the entry? Sorry, Ankit, एक बार repeat करिए please. हम्म. Good. कौन सा डेबिट होगा, कौन सा क्रेडिट? Good. Right, so that is all we have to do. Purchases account or goods account. Purchases goods account debited to BCA and company. Right, the value of the transaction is 1,07,525 and 1,07,525 credit also. So BCA and company, because payment is yet to be made, so that is why we are recording the name of the party with whom we are dealing. Now on the 12th, sold goods, sold 35 units of A to LIR and company on credit of 1 week. So this is a similar transaction but opposite, because it's not a purchase, it's a sale. Right? So one account involved in the transaction is sales, and the other one is the person you're dealing with, because it's not a cash transaction. So LIR and company and sales. Rightly given, Divyansh. LIR and company account debited, debit the receiver, being a personal account, and to sales, and goods account in brackets, and the value of the transaction is On the 12th, 55,825 and 55,825. So 12th ये हो गया. Now on the 13th, this becomes very easy now. Sold 10 units of A for cash. So sales and cash. Cash is a real account. Debit what comes in. So जब business sale करेगा, so cash is going to come in. So cash account debited and sales are always credited. So to sales and within bracket goods account, and the value of the transaction is 16,100 and 16,100. ठीक है? Now we reach the one on the 14th. Anuj 271. Can you please answer this? Anuj, are you there? Khushi 238. No response. Rohit 489. Rohit Kumar 489. Are you there? बताइए रोहित. Which are the accounts involved in this transaction? I'm not asking which type of account. I'm asking which account. What is the name of the account? Real तो category है. Real तो तब decide करेंगे जब हमने identify कर लिए हैं accounts. Tanya Gupta 279. Which are the accounts? Rohit has written SBI account and LIR and company account. Tanya says SBI account. So on the 14th, received check from LIR and company. So definitely bank account is involved, right? And LIR and company is involved because there's nothing else in the transaction. So these are the two accounts. Now we have to see which type of account are they. So अगर bank and LIR दोनों को हम personal consider करते हैं, so debit the receiver, credit the giver. So bank account in this case is the receiving account. Bank account, I've already told you, can be considered as real or it can be considered as personal. So bank account debited to LIR and company. Debit the receiver, credit the giver, and the value of the transaction 55,825. Okay. Now on the 15th, issued check to BCA and company. So again check है और किसी का नाम है, so similar transaction but direction opposite हो जाएगी. अब बैंक रिसीव नहीं कर रहा है, पे कर रहा है, because you're issuing a check. Okay, so debit the receiver, BCA and company. BCA and company account debited to bank account. The value of the transaction is 1,07,525 and 1,07,525. ठीक है. Now on the 16th, purchased 30 units of A from BCA and company on 15 days credit. So purchases or goods account debited to BCA and company. Please remember, purchases account will only be used when you're purchasing goods. Anything else that you purchase, like scooter, office furniture, office equipment, we will always use the name of the thing that you purchased. सो जिस भी प्रोडक्ट में बिजनेस डील करता है, जब वो प्रोडक्ट खरीदते हैं सिर्फ तभी हम परचेजेस की बात करते हैं, और जब उस प्रोडक्ट को बेचते हैं तभी हम सेल्स की बात करते हैं. So if this business at the end of the month were to sell some of the office equipment, they will not say sales. It will be office equipment account. Bank account debited to office equipment account on the sale of office equipment. So purchases और sales सिर्फ goods के लिए ही use होगा every time. So on the 16th, a credit transaction of 38,100 and 38,100 credit as well. Now on the 17th, we have sold 40 units of A to LIR and company on credit of 1 week. So again, very similar to the previous one. LIR and company account debited to sales. Goods account. And the value of the transaction 64,000 and 64,000. Now on the 18th, salary paid to office assistant Ajay Bafna in cash 3,500. इसमें कौन कौन से अकाउंट्स कंसिडर होंगे? सैलरी अकाउंट एंड सैलरी अकाउंट और अजय बाफना अकाउंट अगर हम लें, सो सैलरी अकाउंट इज एन एक्सपेंस अकाउंट, सो हम उसको डेबिट कर देंगे, डेबिट ऑल एक्सपेंसेस एंड लॉसेस, राइट. और अजय बाफना बीइंग अ पर्सनल अकाउंट, डेबिट द रिसीवर, क्रेडिट द गिवर. सो सैलरी भी डेबिट हो जाएगी और अजय बाफना भी डेबिट हो जाएगा, बट देयर इज नो क्रेडिट अकाउंट. So when you're paying salary, you will not write down to whom the salary is being paid. because you've already written the purpose of the payment. So it will be between salary and cash. जब क्रेडिट ट्रांजैक्शंस होती हैं तब हम पार्टी का नाम लिखते हैं. जब कैश ट्रांजैक्शंस होती हैं हम पार्टी का नाम नहीं लिखते हैं. We just write down the purpose: purchase, sale, salary, rent, whatever. So it will be salary account debited because business pay कर रहा है, so debited to cash account because it's a payment in cash. Okay. The name Ajay Bafna will be written in what is known as the salary register of the organization, but it will not be written in the journal. 3,500 and 3,500. ऐसा नहीं है कि उनके पास रिकॉर्ड नहीं होगा कि किसको पे किया, बट वो रिकॉर्ड जर्नल में लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है. We don't want that kind of detail in the journal. So on the 19th, issued check to Monik Verma for his personal use, 5,000 rupees. Issued check to Monik Verma for his personal use, 5,000 rupees. So, like we've already decided that we don't use the name of the proprietor. Monik Verma is the owner of the business. So, उनके नाम की जगह पहले हमने कैपिटल यूज किया था जब उन्होंने पैसा बिजनेस को दिया. जब बिजनेस पैसा मोनिक वर्मा को दे रहा है, we will be using the term drawings. Drawings account is a personal account. Doesn't seem like personal because किसी का नाम नहीं है. But drawings and capital are typical personal accounts where we don't use names and they always refer to the proprietor. So, drawings account debited to bank account because money will move out of the bank account and the value of the transaction is 5,000. Okay, whether the proprietor withdraws goods or he or she withdraws cash, you will always use drawings account. So it will be drawings account debited to goods account अगर goods withdraw किए हो, या to bank account और cash account जब वो पैसे withdraw करते हैं. ठीक है, यहाँ पर intentionally हम capital use नहीं कर रहे हैं because if I show a debit in the capital account, it means जो उन्होंने 2,25,000 बिजनेस को दिए थे वो उसमें से 5,000 ले जा रहे हैं. While actually speaking, Monik Verma is only, established the business now, so he's not withdrawing capital in any manner. ये जो 5,000 rupees उन्होंने withdraw किए हैं, they are kind of his portion of the profit, which he is withdrawing before profit has been calculated. सो अकाउंट्स में हम प्रॉफिट चाहे साल में एक ही बार कैलकुलेट करें, लेकिन अर्न तो वो हर रोज हो रहा है जब सेल्स हो रही हैं. सो यहाँ पर द प्रोप्राइटर इज विड्रॉइंग प्रॉफिट बिफोर हिज पोर्शन ऑफ प्रॉफिट बिफोर इट इज बिफोर इट इज कैलकुलेटेड. क्रिएट तो हो गया है बट कैलकुलेट नहीं हुआ है अभी. सो इसलिए हम ड्रॉइंग्स अकाउंट यूज करते हैं रादर देन कैपिटल अकाउंट. So on the 20th, we have cash paid to the office owner for using his telephone during April, 750 rupees. Okay, so जहाँ पर आप ऑफिस रन कर रहे हैं वहाँ पे आप टेलीफोन लाइन भी एक थी जिसको आप यूज कर चुके हैं. अब आप कैश पे कर रहे हैं टू द ऑफिस ओनर फॉर द यूज ऑफ हिज टेलीफोन. So which accounts will be considered here or should be considered here? ओके, ऑफिस ओनर तो पर्सनल अकाउंट हो जाएगा. ठीक है, सो दिस विल बी टेलीफोन एक्सपेंसेस अकाउंट rather than office as such because office फिर general category हो गया. You don't know why the payment was being made. So telephone expenses account, and it is important to write expenses here. Telephone expenses account debited How did we pay? Okay, cash. So to cash, value of the transaction is 750. Now, why I said it is important to write down expenses, because if I write telephone account debited to cash, it could be seen as purchase of telephone instrument. ठीक है, जबकि ऐसा कुछ यहाँ पर हुआ नहीं है. इंस्ट्रूमेंट आपका नहीं है, वो ओनर का ही रहेगा. आपने सिर्फ उसको यूज किया है फॉर 1 month. So telephone expenses account is the proper way to write it down. And a similar nomenclature we will use when we move on to the next one. Cash paid to Preet fill station towards petrol consumed by the scooter during the month. So अब इसमें कौन कौन से accounts होने चाहिए? Vehicle expenses account and cash account. Very good. Okay, and you can be more specific and say petrol expenses account. Petrol expenses account debited, because vehicle expenses could be repair and maintenance also. So petrol expenses account debited to cash 625 and 625. Okay. Petrol expenses account debited to cash rupees 625. Now we will, in if I look at the language of the transaction, यहाँ पर प्रीत फिल स्टेशन का भी नाम है. सो देयर कैन बी कंफ्यूजन कि हमने उनका नाम क्यों रिकॉर्ड नहीं किया. नाम इसलिए रिकॉर्ड नहीं किया बिकॉज इट वाज नॉट अ क्रेडिट ट्रांजैक्शन, इट वाज अ कैश ट्रांजैक्शन. नंबर टू, हमने पेट्रोल क्यों नहीं लिखा इंस्टेड ऑफ पेट्रोल एक्सपेंसेस? बिकॉज इफ आई से पेट्रोल अकाउंट, then it means I have bought petrol and it is lying somewhere in the business. So जब आपके ऑडिटर आएंगे वो पूछेंगे वो पेट्रोल कहाँ गया जो आपने खरीदा था. So that is why petrol expenses, to indicate that the petrol has already been consumed by the scooter. The third account that you see in the language of the transaction is the scooter account. अगर मैं स्कूटर अकाउंट को डेबिट या क्रेडिट करती हूँ विद द पेट्रोल एक्सपेंसेस, व्हाट डज इट अमाउंट टू? Either increase in the value of scooter or decrease in the value of scooter, both of which will be incorrect logically. So that is why we use petrol expenses account debited to cash. Is this clear with everybody? Divyansh had asked a question. What if there are multiple owners? In case there are multiple owners in a business, then we say A's capital account, B's capital account, and similarly we'll have A's drawings account and B's drawings account. Okay, so जहाँ पर multiple owners होते हैं वहाँ पे उनको accordingly we use the nomenclature. लेकिन names use कहीं भी नहीं करते हैं. We can have multiple capital accounts and multiple drawings accounts. Is that clear? Any questions, anyone? Okay. हाँ हाँ. हम्म. वो रिकॉर्ड तो करेंगे बेटा, पर वो मई में रिकॉर्ड करेंगे. सो हमारे क्वेश्चन में तो ट्रांजैक्शन सिर्फ अप्रैल तक दी हुई है. ओके. सो जो मई की ट्रांजैक्शंस हैं वो मई में ही रिकॉर्ड होंगी, उनका अप्रैल पे कोई इम्पैक्ट नहीं होगा. ठीक है. सो इसलिए हमें यहाँ पर वी डोंट हैव टू वरी अबाउट कैलकुलेटिंग द इंस्टॉलमेंट और कितना इंटरेस्ट एंड ऑल दैट. हम वैसे ये सब कैलकुलेशंस करेंगे बट इन अ डिफरेंट चैप्टर. बट यहाँ पर इसलिए रिक्वायर्ड नहीं है कि जितनी भी मई की ट्रांजैक्शंस हैं वो सारी मई में ही रिकॉर्ड होंगी, और हमारी ट्रांजैक्शंस तो 21 अप्रैल को सब खत्म हो गई हैं इन द क्वेश्चन. सो वी विल एंड आवर जर्नल हियर. राइट. Now, using these journal entries, please prepare all the accounts that have been either debited or credited in the journal. So, use this as a practice. Go back to the previous question. वहाँ पे हमने accounts बनाए थे. उनको रेफरेंस लेके आप ये सारे लेजर अकाउंट्स बनाइए टिल द नेक्स्ट क्लास, एंड देन वील डिस्कस द बैलेंसेस ऑफ दोज accounts and also move further. Okay? And please tell me a free slot so that I can schedule the extra classes in place of the ones that we missed last week. So जो भी आपके बैच का फ्री स्लॉट्स हैं वो आप प्लीज़ मुझे सारे बैचेस के 44, 45, 46 together. So please let me know so that we can at least recover some of the classes. Right, so I've downloaded your attendance. You people can leave now. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. हाँ जी, पूछिए. जब हम सेल्स टर्म यूज करते हैं तो उसको नॉमिनल मानते हैं, लेकिन जब हम सेल्स की बात कर रहे हैं, हम गुड्स के लिए रेफर कर रहे हैं ना, सो गुड्स पार्ट जो होता है वो रियल होता है. सो आप उसको ईदर वेज कंसिडर कर सकते हैं. ठीक है. हम्म. मतलब जो हम सेल या परचेज कर रहे हैं वो है तो गुड्स ही, लेकिन ये हमारा चॉइस है कि हम उसको किस तरह से लिख रहे हैं. So, for convenience, which you will realize the moment I start preparing the profit and loss account and balance sheet, कि further processing के हिसाब से writing purchase and sales is better. But initially हम लोग visualize कर रहे होते हैं transactions, so इसलिए हम goods use करते हैं, क्योंकि आपको visualize करने में easy हो जाता है कि goods are coming in and goods are going out. राइट. सो दैट इज वाई आई यूज द ब्रैकेट कॉन्सेप्ट कि जब हम सेल्स की बात कर रहे हैं हम गुड्स की ही बात कर रहे हैं. सिमिलरली जब हम परचेज की बात कर रहे हैं हम गुड्स की बात कर रहे हैं. सो जब हम टर्म्स यूज करते हैं परचेज एंड सेल, दे आर नॉमिनल, एंड व्हेन आई यूज द टर्म गुड्स आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट रियल अकाउंट. सो ये सिर्फ डिफरेंस इसलिए करते हैं ताकि जब आप रूल्स ऑफ एंट्री अप्लाई करें तो कोई कंफ्यूजन ना हो. ओके, you're welcome.